Hey, this is Rhett from MaseratiMods. Today we're going to be reviewing Formula Dynamics Drive-by-Wire Performance Enhancement Module. Now this is a module that Formula Dynamics claims will boost your throttle responsiveness, improve performance delivery, and also increase the gear selection and changing process while driving in the automatic mode. Now I've gathered a lot of information, both quantitative and simply butt and seat data, and we'll be sharing that. So be sure to use the table of contents and the description to bounce around as you need to. I also have a installation video that I put together on installing the drive-by-wire enhancement module. So be sure to check that out as well. So why do you need a drive-by-wire performance enhancement module anyway? Well, the Maserati GranTurismo has the same engine as a Ferrari 430, the 458, California. They're all the same engine, tuned slightly differently. But when you get into the GranTurismo, the stock version of it, you really wouldn't know that. And there's a reason for that. The Ferrari-Maserati collaboration was a huge success, with the jointly developed F136 engine earning multiple Best Performance Engine awards in the 2010s. Despite sharing a core design, key differences in engineering and tuning distinguish the two brands. Maserati used a cross-plane crankshaft, prioritizing smooth power delivery and a richer exhaust note, while Ferrari employed a flat-plane crankshaft for a higher revving, more aggressive performance. These tuning choices were also strategic. With Ferrari's California positioned as a Grand Tourer, the Maserati GranTurismo was deliberately tuned to be less sporty, avoiding direct competition. As a result, the GranTurismo is slower to respond to driver inputs, often requiring the pedal to be fully depressed for full power, which can delay acceleration and result in slower shifts. The FD drive-by-wire module is designed to address these performance limitations, enhancing throttle response and bringing the GranTurismo closer to its full potential. And installing the drive-by-wire module is on the moderate level of DIY projects because you do have to splice or tap 7 wires into the wiring harness that connects into the car's ECU. The module itself needs to be mounted inside the car underneath the driver's side dash. So you do have to fish those wires through the firewall to make those connections. Check out my other video for a walkthrough of that installation process. All right, so let's get into the data. We're going to deep dive into the performance comparison between factory settings and the FD drive-by-wire setup and a 2014 GranTurismo Sport. We're going to see how the FD drive-by-wire modifies the car's responsiveness across various driving modes and how it stacks up against the factory setup. Our objective is to compare the key performance parameters between the stock factory and the FD drive-by-wire system in both its standard and performance modes. We're focusing on 6 different driving configurations, testing how each performs under real-world conditions. To measure the differences, we conducted a series of tests using an Autel scanner to record live data. We captured key metrics like throttle position, load value, and accelerator pedal position. And while the Autel isn't a laboratory-grade instrument, it is reliable enough to give us a solid indication of how each mode compares. Each run consisted of 2 parts. First, a 3 to 5 mile an hour rolling start to wide open throttle, so pedal push to the floor, up to about 70 miles an hour. And then a second, from 55 miles an hour, followed by a short burst wide open throttle acceleration. These tests were designed to simulate real-world driving scenarios where throttle response and acceleration are crucial. All right, and here you can see the drive-by-wire unit module here. And this is how it plugs into the ECU. And then this is your switch for standard mode or performance mode. And if you want to go back to factory, you have to disconnect this. But it's really important that you add this terminator plug here. So you do that, add that in, and then from the ECU standpoint, you are back to factory. Now this is something you want to make sure you do only when the car stops. Never want to unplug this when it's running. Switching this is fine while it's running. All right, we're in factory touring mode. The time on Autel is 5:34. Going into factory sport mode. All right, we've got FD drive-by-wire enabled. We're in touring mode. The time on Autel is 21:13. All right, we have drive-by-wire on. We are in the standard mode and putting it into sport. Autel is at 28:13. All right, we have drive-by-wire on in the performance mode. The time on Autel is 36. All right, we're in drive-by-wire performance mode. The time on Autel is 42 minutes. Going to sport. All right, so let's take a closer look at this data. I've summarized the Autel charts into these two slides. One for touring mode, for the start, as well as the 55 mile an hour acceleration, and then also for sport mode. And we're going to be looking at these 5 different sensors and the data that Autel collected over a period of time. The top line here shows the maximum value achieved for that particular test. So for example, if we look at the blues, that's the engine RPM, and you can see how that increased over time. It took this dip here, that's when the car shifted. All right. Now I'm no expert at analyzing this data, but a few things jumped out at me, and I would love to hear your comments if you have more thoughts. Let's start with the engine RPM. First of all, the maximum RPM attained increases over the factory versus drive-by-wire modes. And remember, this is over the same stretch of on-ramp, so same distance. So 64.18 in the factory touring mode, and it jumps up to 68.04 in drive-by-wire and 71.42 in the drive-by-wire performance mode. The other thing I noticed that the time at which the shifting occurs increases as well. So the RPMs increase. So for the factory touring mode, it looks like that first shift is occurring around, let's say, 3,400 RPMs versus in the drive-by-wire, it's I would say I'd call this more like 38 or 40. I'm sorry, yeah, 4,000 RPMs. And then when you get up into the drive-by-wire performance mode, it's almost 7,000 RPMs before that first shift occurs. The other thing that I noticed with the throttle position, so the red here, the throttle position is the same in sport mode factory 85.9 as well as drive-by-wire sport mode, but when you get up to the drive-by-wire performance mode, it increases to 86.3. So it's opening up the throttle more than you can get in factory. Next is absolute load value, so that'd be the light green here. This also increases as you move into drive-by-wire mode. So 101.2 in the factory, and then 109 once you get into drive-by-wire mode. And then finally, the accelerator pedal position. So the maximum actually stays the same across all modes, so it's 86.3, but you do see how the slope changes as you move from factory to drive-by-wire modes. Now, I can't really make sense of this this particular one too much, and I'm going to rely more on my butt and seat data that I collected in the driving that we're going to show next. But if any of you see any other data that jumps out that's interesting, have any other observations, please comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. All right. And with that, we'll go ahead and move into the next little bit less formal phase of this test. All right, now we're going to drive around, kind of just normal driving around town. I'll get on the highway to test out the drive-by-wire module compared to the factory. Right now I'm in factory setting touring, and I don't know if the drive-by-wire module modifies the accelerator pedal position as far as what the ECM reads. So I'm going to supplement what Autel is capturing with just my own kind of convention I came up with. So I'm going to use 4 different positions: position 1, 2, 3, and wide open throttle watt. Try to make them all kind of, I'll try to be as consistent as I can in applying these. So right now in touring mode, I'm at about 1. And then this would be 2, 3, and then wide open. So that's the convention I'll be using across all the various configurations. Now I have been driving with the drive-by-wire module on in standard mode for the last 2 months or so. So I've not actually driven in factory mode in some time, and already I can feel that it's just not as responsive. I have to push the pedal down further to get it to go, and when I do, there's just a little bit of a delay where it reacts. This is where I was doing the test runs with Autel. Okay, so I'm at 1, 2, 3, 4 watt. Right now, here we're cruising at 60, and I'm moving the throttle from no throttle at all to 1, and then 2. Going from no throttle to 1, there's absolutely like no response. It does not accelerate at all. Going to 2, it sort of does. Not much though. So I'm actually like bouncing off the accelerator right now, and it's just kind of mushy. And not responding. I'm going to put it in the sport mode, try that out. Alright, we're in sport mode, factory. Definitely hear it. Love the I love that sound. The responsiveness has definitely increased. So when I push it down, for example, I was in about a 2 there, responds quickly. All right, 2, 3 watt. All right, we're going to try some acceleration here at a 1. The difference from what I'm used to driving in standard mode is in factory sport, it is similarly responsive. It's just there's a lot more drama. The engine sound, it sounds like we're really pushing it hard. All right, now I'm at a 2, 3, wide open. Sounds amazing. I'm going back into touring mode. And here's where you just, the pedal responsiveness significantly drops. I mean, it'll go, you just have to push the pedal down. And relative to my other cars, it's just it's more. It's I mean, you have to push it down more to get it to go. All right, so this concludes the factory mode test. I'm going to pull over and plug in the drive-by-wire module. Right, we are in touring with drive-by-wire enabled in standard mode. And noticeable improvement on the responsiveness immediately. So here's no throttle. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're in touring mode. I'm at a 1 now. Let's get it down here. Simulate if I was needing to overtake someone. Get it down to a reasonable speed. Alright. Say I wanted to overtake or pass someone. Let's go. It just goes. That was about a 2, 3, maybe a 3, just a burst. All right, I'm going to put it in sport mode. And just a little bit more responsive again. I'm at about a 1 right now, and it's wanting to take off. It's accelerating. All right, let me get it. Slow down a bit here. All right, it's barely touching the pedal right now, but it feels right. All right. Want to overtake, going to 3. Very quick acceleration. That's 3. Wide open. Very, very, very fast. That was just a burst. Holy shit. Woo! All right. I think that's good for this test. All right, so we are in touring with drive-by-wire performance mode on. Of course, I should probably be on a track doing this, but it's one for the team. All right, so I'm at about a 2 now, and you can see the acceleration. We're still accelerating. I'm at 2, maybe 1 actually. That was about a 1. I'm at a 1 right now, and it's wanting to accelerate. Slow down here. We're in touring mode. So I'm at a 1 right now. We're going to go 2, 3, and it pulls hard. Not even up to 3. Wide open. Yeah. Very, very fast. All right, we're going to put it in sport mode. try to slow down here. Just barely touching, not even a 1 right now. Good, 2, 3. That's 3. That's going to accelerate faster than I want to go. Full throttle. Yeah, just extremely fast, super responsive. Yeah, I feel like I should be on a track. But fortunately no cars around, so we're good. Alright, so I think that'll do it. I'm not going to push my luck too much here, but hopefully that gives you a sense of what it's like driving with the drive-by-wire on through the various configurations. You know, it really makes a difference over factory. It's just a much faster car. It feels more like a race car. No difference in the sound. You know, this does not increase horsepower, supposedly, but it sure feels like it does. And Formula Dynamics has said the drive-by-wire module makes the car like they believe it should have been from factory. You know, I agree 100%. I feel like this is how a Maserati GranTurismo should drive. So I'm very happy with the results of the drive-by-wire module. Like I said, I keep mine in standard mode, which is perfectly fine. Really only for performing these tests do I put it into performance mode. Probably would if I were on a track. I'd feel more comfortable doing that. But it makes the car more fun to drive. Alright, so this is going to wrap up the test. I hope this was helpful. My heart's beating a little bit and my hands are a little sweaty from doing the test, so hope you enjoyed it. By the way, if you like this instrument cluster, I sell these at MaseratiMods.com along with the head units. I have several different styles of head units, and upgrading the instrument cluster and the head units are a real game changer for this car, especially if you got an older model. Maserati, this is a 2014, and it feels like a brand new car. Totally modernized. Nothing about this feels like old man. And then you add the drive-by-wire module, and this is a true high-performance sports car. And you know, with the drivability, the style, the sound, it's really hard to beat. All right, managed to make it home all right without getting any trouble. Well, that was by far the most complex video I've done so far. I hope it was helpful for you. If you're interested in getting a performance enhancement module, check us out at MaseratiMods.com. We also carry other body styling, as well as head units and the digital instrument cluster and other merchandise. So check us out. Thanks for watching.